We're reading from Kabbalah Lamatchil, Introduction to the Book of Zohar, page 40, item 9. You can ask questions during the lesson on www.kab.tv. Selected questions referred to the studied material will be aired. Kabbalah Lamatchil, Introduction to the Book of Zohar, page 40, item 9. And you find that in spirituality, the change of form operates as the acts in the corporeal world, and the distance between them is proportional to the oppositeness of form. From this we learn that since the will to receive pleasure has been imprinted in the souls, and since that form is absent in the Creator, because from whom can he receive? That difference of form that the souls acquired separates them from his essence as the axe that carves a stone from the mountain. And because of that difference of form, the souls were separated from the Creator and became creatures. However, everything the souls acquire of his light is extended from his essence, existence from existence. It therefore turns out that as far as the light that they receive is in their vessel, which is the will to receive, is concerned, there is no difference between them and his essence. That is because they receive existence from existence, directly from his essence. And the difference between the souls and his essence is only that the souls are a part of his essence. That means that the amount of light they receive in their vessel, being the will to receive, is already separated from God because it is being received through difference of form of the will to receive, which made it a part through which they were separated from the whole and became a part. Thus, the only difference between them is that one is a whole and the other is a part. As a stone that is carved from a mountain, and scrutinize this meticulously, for it is impossible to expand further on such sublime issue. This is surely a problem to explain the will to receive itself. It is not opposite to the light, to the Creator. The light that fulfills the will to receive, it governs it, controls it, and you don't feel the desire, you feel the result from the meeting of the light with the desire, the pleasure. Or, if in the meeting between them meets the gap in between them, then you feel the shame, or the will to receive that wants to compare with the light. It begins to feel its measure of equivalence with the light, what we call the Creator. Meaning the substance itself, it does not comprise a partition, but an essential difference of how does this light exist against the quality, how does this will to receive exist against the quality of light. Therefore, the whole question is, to which extent does the creature feel himself opposite to the Creator? If does not feel himself opposite, then he's not opposite. We're talking only from within the creature. So when we talk about the simple person that lives in this world, he has no change from the Creator. He realizes everything that the Creator wants. The Creator operates him through his small egoistic will to receive. And a person, he realizes what the Creator, he dictates to him. The Creator provokes within man the point in the heart, meaning shows man the extent to which man is opposite to him in something. Accordingly, a person begins to be restless, and he starts looking how to come to that rest. It brings him to the group, to the Kabbalah, different things. Afterwards, by the Creator revealing himself and not revealing himself, he starts bringing himself to different conditions, and this way a person he develops. The whole development, it comes only from within man. A person, he determines, he defines these things. There's no partition here on behalf of the Creator or a certain difference or distancing, because he sees man that is under his supervision, under his dominion. He has created the will to receive, and everything is beneath him, under him. But all the actions, they come only as a result of man's sensation. So, as much as that feeling of man being opposite to the Creator is awoken in him, accordingly can he act. Now, a person he's been given such a sensation that he's opposite. This doesn't depend on him, it's the Reshimot that are discovered. And after these Reshimot, a person receives the ability to define himself in one way or the other. By this, he brings himself closer to the Creator, or works according to a different sort of choice, meaning according to his will to receive. So this desire that is discovered in the man's choice, it can be as an axe that separates between him and the Creator. We're not talking about our natural will to receive, but only towards man's consciousness. Our substance, our matter, doesn't change. The desire to receive remains the desire to receive. But how does a person use it? For himself, or like the Creator for the sake of the others? Here is all the difference between us, meaning that there are souls. The Creator that refers to the souls in giving. There's man, each and every one. I, the I, let's put it so, that feels himself separate from the others. If he performs the same action as the Creator, the giving, then the I, by this, and the Creator, they become as one. We have adhesion here. This means that the axe that divides between the Creator and the creature, it merely acts in man's scrutiny towards the rest of the souls, to find out where it is. I can't find it out between me and the Creator. I can do this only towards the rest of the souls. This is very important. Because a person, he simply feels himself distant from the Creator. He works on me, affects me, influences me, am I opposite to him? It's a feeling. But the scrutiny of that feeling is incorrect, because if I want to correct it, our meeting here is together. How do I examine his relation towards all the souls and my relation towards all the souls? Only here can we say to which extent are we equal. Only in this. We have no other place for a mutual kli, where he operates and where I operate. Therefore, adhesion, distancing, acts, disparity of form, it is all scrutinized only within man, this general person within the system of the souls. We can draw it differently, that there's the Creator here, and man is within the Creator, but there's a shell. Sometimes it's possible to draw it this way, a shell that separates between him and the Creator. It's possible to do it through different other depictions, but the most correct one is the Creator is what we discover in the connection between the souls. There was the Kli. In this Kli, there were all the souls tied to one another. In the Kli of Adam Rishon, and the light began to be revealed there in the Kli, and it was called the Creator that is revealed within the creature. And the Kelim, the parts of Adam Rishon, were separated. There was what we call the fall off of limbs. There is no connection between them now. It means that the Creator has left, because only in the connection between the souls, the connection between them, it exists. The upper light appears only where the intentions of the Kli are with one another. The way, the form of the intentions of the Kli to bestow upon one another, that's where the light dwells. Or we say differently, what is the Kli? The Masach and Or Choser. This is the intention. This is the true Kli, not the will to receive. The desire is as a foundation. The Kli is called Masach and Or Choser. In this Kli, the Or Choser, the Or Yashar clothes, which is the Creator, the meeting of the Creator with the creature. Therefore, what he tells us here, the acts that separates, it's the acts that separates between creature and creature, between the souls. If we will connect the connection between the souls, there will we discover the Creator. In adhesion with the Creator and equivalence of form, will they truly become one in the qualities given to the other. So I stay me and he stays him. Yes, but we're adhered and equal, and one does not cancel the other. Actually, in your question, there's another question. By this, am I cancelled before him? Do I disappear by this? No, man does not disappear. He is in all of the sins and transgressions that become as virtues, all the hatred which became into love, all the Mount of Sinai which turned into the mountain of the Creator for him, and all of the exertion which became purity. It only works as purity. It remains. Therefore, a person, he stays with all that he had. Nothing disappears. There's no absence. But everything, it is revealed by these qualities which join together. Towards the final state. The adhesion is the final result from all the problems and the distance and the transgressions and mistakes and sins. When they are all corrected and joined together, do they create the adhesion. And all of the oviyut remains, of course. It turns only into purity. Therefore, how is it possible for there to be Masach and Or Choser if there is not in there a cruel of you, the future of the angel of death to be the angel of life, only in the addition of Masach no Chozel. Item 9. And now we can understand the fourth inquiry. We understand the fourth inquiry. How is it possible that from His holiness will emerge the chariot of defilement and shells, since it is the other end of His holiness? And how can it be that He supports and sustains it? Indeed, we must first understand the essence of the defilement and the shells. Know that it is the great will to receive, of which we said that it is the essence of the souls by creation, and because they are willing to receive the entire filling that is in the thought of creation, it does not stay in that form within the souls, because if it had, they would have had remained eternally separate from Him. Meaning, to begin with, to create the creature in order to be separated from the Creator on the one hand, to exist, it has to be a creation outside of the degree, outside of the Creator. On the other hand, this creature has to reach the equivalence of form with the Creator, because the Creator wants to bring him to good and benevolence. So the will to receive that was created is the opposite of the light on the one hand. On the other hand, this form that he has received, meaning that the will to receive was created. A will to receive. This desire, when it's received, there's no problem with it. It's received. Afterwards, this desire has received the intention, the desire, in order to receive. Meaning it wants to receive, and with the intention to receive. We say that he wants to receive pleasure, and who's the landlord here? He wants to receive it from the landlord. Here, he wants only pleasure. There's a difference. He also wants to use the landlord. He feels the landlord. He enjoys the landlord serving him. Therefore, he's already called a shell that wants to use the Creator. But this way, he does not remain anything of the he. He makes a correction upon himself, makes the restriction, receives no pleasure, because he doesn't want to be separate from the host. The same desire, but he no longer wants to use the intention in order to receive. He goes through a restriction, and afterwards he goes through the correction by receiving from above the light that reforms. Something else. Not pleasures, but he wants to have the feeling of the host. Not as it's here to use him and to enjoy the landlord serving him, but it's all mekif. The light of correction, let's put it so. The light of correction. Here, the light of correction also works. Therefore, he can't make any restriction. Here, he reaches a desire that he is in order to bestow the Galgalta Enenayim, the quality of bestowal. And afterwards, he reaches a state where he receives pleasures with that feeling of the host. that the host, the landlord, gives him these pleasures in order to bestow to the landlord his sensation of pleasure. So here we have pleasure, here we have the feeling of the landlord, and here is the bestowal to the landlord. So it is the desire in order to bestow, the desire to receive, the desire to bestow, in order to bestow. And this is the way he corrects himself. You see that he uses all the great desire here, the feeling of the landlord, completely open to anything that can come to him from the Creator. But all of this is felt inside of him because he's sure by this that the Creator enjoys, and only for the sake of this does he open himself. And this is the equivalence or adhesion. Yes? A question coming from Israel. Does the shell itself turn into a masach? Does the shell turn into a masach? Yes. The klipa, it's called the intention in order to receive. In order to receive, it means a klipa. And then it becomes by the light. It becomes in order to bestow sanctity. Please. And in order to mend the separation that rests upon the vessel of the souls, he created all the worlds and separated them into two systems, as the verse goes, one against the other God made them, which are the four worlds of Abia of holiness, and opposite them the four worlds of Abia of the impure Abia. And he imprinted the will to bestow in Abia of holiness, and removed from them the will to receive for themselves, and placed it in the system of the impure worlds of Abia. And because of that, they became separated from the Creator and from all the worlds of holiness. For that reason, the shells are called dead, as the verse goes, sacrifices of the dead. And the evil are attracted to them, as our sages say, the evil are called dead when they are still alive, because the will to receive imprinted in them in oppositeness of form to His holiness separates them from the life of lives, and they are remote from Him from one end to the other. It is so because He has no interest in reception, only in bestowal. Whereas the shells want only to receive for their own delight and nothing to do with bestowal. And there is no greater oppositeness than that. You already know that. The spiritual remoteness begins with some difference of form and ends in oppositeness of form, which is the furthest possible distance in the last degree. And the world's content. We can divide the degrees to the worlds. To the worlds of Bia of holiness and Klipa. One against the other has the Creator made. Elokim is Bina, the quality in the world of Atzilut. The world of Atzilut is here, completely good. That is the Atik, Arich Anpin, Abba and Ima, and Zon. It is all good. Between the worlds of Kedusha and Klipa, we have the souls here. By the souls, we mean the Rishimot from the breaking. From the breaking of Adam Arishon. That is one general soul. And these souls that are separate, they need to reunite, reconnect. Their reconnection into one system once again is the world of Atzilut. If they want to connect, who awakens them actually? Awakens them something they receive from the Klipa. From the Klipa, you receive. In order to receive from the Kedusha, you receive in order to bestow, and they themselves are in scrutiny. After the scrutiny, the correct scrutiny, they raise man to Zon of Atzilut. And from there they receive corrections. They receive corrections from there that raise them and work this way. This is what we learn in tests. What is important to know here is that as a result of the breaking of Adam Arishon that was on the degree of Abba and Ima of Atzilut, here we have Adam Arishon. Here we had Adam Arishon. It was completely Adam Arishon. He had the worlds of Bia. He was in the worlds of Bia, wrapped by the worlds of Bia on the height of Abba and Ima of Atzilut. When he was broken, he broke and fell in the worlds of Bia, since they caused him the breaking. They got different malfunctions, deficiencies, because they caused the breaking of Adam Arishon, so they connected to Kedusha and Klipa, holiness and Klipa. And now Adam Arishon, since he did not previously identify, he did not discern, he couldn't feel what the worlds of Bia feel and that he's going to break. Now, by the scrutinies, he precisely finds out where did he go wrong, and he can resurrect himself so that he will no longer be wrong and correct his mistake. When he corrects his mistake, he builds himself all of this system from sanctity and impurity and places it itself again in the corrected system of Bia, again in the corrected system of Bia in the world of Atzilut and Gadlut, the same as he demanded during the time of the sin, and then it is called, if he does this, it is called the end of correction. We can see that without a person breaking, with all the souls that were as one soul. Adam Arishon, one soul. And without breaking into many souls. And without the worlds of Bia turning into two systems, one against the other. He cannot see, watch, examine who is he compared with the Creator. What is the difference between Klippa and Kedusha, who is the Creator? Because it's impossible to attain something unless it is from the opposite state. Therefore, all of his scrutinies, the scrutinies of Adam Arishon, from the shell to the sanctity. Therefore, he does not lose his independence. He understands that how to correct himself. What is he missing in order to be equal with the Creator? All as a result of the breaking of the vessels. True, the breaking of the kelim is the most correct thing. You remember how Rabbi Akiva used to laugh when the temple broke, when he said that now I'm sure that we will reach the end of correction. Because if sanctity has broken and fell, then now has to come its correction, and truly this gap between the Creator and the creature will be finally corrected. Will be finally corrected. How can I, in the day-to-day, receive pleasure and, along with it, to receive the light from the Creator to correct me, or I can receive the pleasure and during the morning come to the lesson and be cleansed? You give a very nice solution, truly. 3 hours a day I'll come to the lesson. I'll sit, I'll learn, I'll do everything. But besides this, there are 21 other hours where I'll seriously enjoy life with all of its pleasures. First of all, it's a must. Otherwise, what can you do? I must be included with the system of the shells. Otherwise, what will I go to the lesson with to correct myself? I'll have nothing to correct. True, I see according to your face that you agree with me. So what do we do? The truth is that it's true, it's correct. What is correct? I can't come to the lesson that at the time of the study of Kabbalah shines the light that reforms, like he writes to us at the end of the introduction to Tess, an item Kuf Nun Hey, unless I need the correction. If only I need the correction, I come to the study and then I study the Torah. If I do not need the correction, I simply study wisdom. It's written, wisdom in the Gentiles believe. Torah in the Gentiles do not believe. A Gentile, it means someone who doesn't want to correct himself. He's in the ego and that's it. Jew, it means someone who yearns for the unity. Israel, it means Yashar Kel. Israel, straight to the Creator, someone who wants to come to the Creator. So if a person doesn't have the feeling that he is evil, he doesn't come to learn Torah, because it is written, I've created the evil inclination, I've created Torah's spice. To the extent to which I feel that I am evil, then I learn and then I study Kabbalah, because otherwise I do not draw the light that reforms. And then this light, it works upon me and corrects me. Meaning, you're right. First of all, you have to be included from the Klippa, from the Bia of impurity, from all the evil that exists. But where? Where will I be included from it? Maybe I'll go into all the Tel Aviv pubs. Maybe I'll go to football games, drink beer, enjoy life, and afterwards I'll come full of klipot to the lesson, and I'll draw the light that reforms and will be corrected. It's not correct. It won't be a klipa. It's beastliness. Klipa, it means against the Creator. Meaning, in order to enter the system of the klipot, and afterwards for you to have what to correct, you already have to be in yearning for bestowal, for the Creator. And then different desires against this will come to you, obstructions against this, and they will be the klipot. And by these klipot, you will want to correct yourself. You will go to learn Kabbalah once again. The first time you learn it in order to discover the klipot. Second time you discover it in order to correct the klipot. And then you reach adhesion with the Creator. A klipa is against the holiness, one against the other. If you do not yearn for holiness, the klipa does not come to you, but you're below the siyum in ha'olam hazeh. This is beastliness. This is how it's called. Beastliness, which is the degree of the living, of the animate, not the degree of the speaking, not the degree of man. That's it. So therefore, all of your 21 hours besides the learning, you have to nonetheless yearn for spirituality, and then you shall gather all of the obstructions, and you will come with them to the 3 hours of learning. This is how it works. And before the machsom, what does it mean, a klipa? If still a person doesn't feel the Creator, before the machsom, all of our desires, they're called klipot because we are provided by these klipot. Even before the machsom, we are under the dominion of the klipot, meaning receive this, because we're in a klipa, because this world is a part of the world of Asiyah. Yes. If I understand this correctly, if besides these 3 hours I go to pubs and football, it's not called a shill, it's called beastliness. If I come to the lesson and here I somehow try to think whether it's accepted correctly, and this disturbs me, I constantly think about football, pubs, then this is because it truly disturbs me, and I want to think about connection and unity, and how can I concentrate? I'm thinking only about that. That's also a shell, but it's a very weak one. It's very small. Because the true klipa is against the Creator, where you feel that it is truly against Him. Look from the story of the sons of Israel in Egypt. First of all good. The 7 years of satiation. They're in the study and different things. Everything is fine. The will to receive receives and enjoys. And this way, a person that begins to study Kabbalah, he feels that everything is fine. And this is what we call the 7 years of satiation. And then begin the 7 years of hunger. What is the result of my learning? It's not according to years 7 and 7. Because 7 is the degree of Zat. It is what comes from the Gar, from the Rosh, to the realization. After the period is realized where a person was without discernment regarding his evil inclination, comes the beginning of the awakening of the evil inclination. This is already a klipa. This is already Egypt. You feel that you're in the Egyptian exile. To begin with, he begins to work with his ego, with the Egypt, for him to have all good. There was hunger in Israel, and the people of Israel went down into Egypt. After he works on himself through the wisdom of Kabbalah, he studies it, what we call as the 7 years of satiation. he begins to later on feel that it becomes hard for him. He thought that he's advancing, that he's a hero, that soon he's going to attain something. Now he understands that it's not in the external vessels that he attains something, in mind, or where is this thing that is supposed to be revealed before me. He begins to hear, not yet feel, but to hear that it has to be an inner change. An inner change is something that we don't understand, that it is something that I did not expect. Begin the 7 years of hunger. It's not the same pleasures as I wanted. Till begins the understanding by the work in the group and the study, and the Old Makif constantly works on him. He begins to have the understanding that the correction has to nonetheless be an inner correction in his qualities, in the desire to enjoy, for it to be in order to bestow and giving and the love of others. Well, the love of others, it's a great problem, but nonetheless, he begins to agree with it. To agree with it, and he already begins to have a meeting with the Pharaoh, meaning that on the one hand he agrees, the point in the heart it awakens more and more, and on the other hand he feels that all of his body against this is completely burning in all kinds of beastly pleasures and different disturbances against the Creator, till when it becomes one against the other. The inner state within man is very, very tense. It reaches the decision that if now I do not decide that the Creator needs to dominate, to control, to rule, then I die. And such a decision brings him to the 10 beatings that finish all of his exile. Meaning that then he as if turns to the Creator and he cries, and the children of Israel sighed from the work. And then against that point within man, the Creator is revealed and says, come to Pharaoh. This process, it's a chain of actions, cause and consequence, a chain of actions, of conditions, in which a person constantly chooses and advances. But all of this nevertheless happens only by the light that reforms, that works in the group, and studies the sources of Kabbalah. Like the Kabbalists write, there is no other choice. Therefore, Chokhmah, the wisdom, is discovered now. And since a person feels that he has an inclination for correction, for the Creator, for something, he doesn't even know what. Even though he doesn't feel it, but he's worthy of it, he's being brought to the group, to the place of study. Through the net, through the different wires, through different connections. But he's being brought. And that's it. And this is how one advances. Yes? Victor from Pardesia, he says, it is written that the wicked during their lives are called dead. If wicked is a high degree, why is it called that the wicked are called dead? It is written that their death is better than their life. The wicked, it depends on which degree do we talk about the wicked. The world is included of all people. Man is a small world. The wicked in him are those same desires that work in order to receive. And these desires in order to receive, if they control a person, then he is being cut from the Creator. He doesn't feel the upper light, and this is called death. And therefore, the wicked in their lives, therefore they're called dead. They're called alive, but in truth they're dead. Because as they're alive, they nourish themselves only on the klipot. They're never fulfilled, and they feel themselves empty, and they're also dead. Since the upper light does not fulfill them, they have no spiritual life. Yes? I want to ask, all the conditions and what a person tries and goes through during the day, it automatically is translated into the lesson, or during the lesson he has to recollect all the failures he had during the day. A person, he doesn't control his condition. He can't artificially think about the day that he went through from lesson to lesson, and then, or even begin writing like you read now from the note. Begin making that list of what did he go through during the day, and read it tomorrow before the lesson, what you went through that you want to correct. You'll read dry, dead words because you're no longer in the feeling of those conditions. They passed by, they're gone, they were realized in your reshimot. And with these reshimot, you come to the lesson, and the lesson in general, you need to provoke yourself in a condition where you yearn for the adhesion with the Creator that is called for bestowal and love and giving, and for it to be realized in the group, since it's the mini model, mini pattern of Adam HaRishon, that in this system, the connection between the souls called Shekhinah, in it is the Creator is discovered. In general, this is the intention into the learning. And like it is written in the Siddur about the blessing of the Torah, when you bless the Torah, what does it mean? That you come to the learning and blessing where you hope for it to help you and discover the evil, the gap between you and the Creator, and for it to correct you. This means to bless the Torah to begin with before the learning. And besides this, the Kriyat Shema, it means when you wish to reach Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, that Israel, it is you. I say, for instance, Shema Michael, the Creator is our God, the Creator is one, meaning that through this Kli I intend to reach the light. The Shem is the light, and what fulfills this Kli is the light, where I'm intending to include myself with all the souls as Nishmat Adam HaRishon in the revelation of divinity in order to bring content to it. In general, it's the picture of Ein Sof that you have to see before yourself as a goal, but this goal has to be on each smallest step. And by this, you advance towards the good for sure, and you draw upon yourself from Ein Sof, because all the lights come from Ein Sof. So by this, you draw upon yourself from Ein Sof the light that reforms, that draws you precisely through that same path to the same goal. Yes? You yourself said that during the day, a person, it's impossible that once an hour he won't open something to read. If there is the time that a person can open and be connected to the goal, to the group, to the thought about unity, to the Creator. So it means that all the rest of the time, he's not connected and continues what Yaron asked. So if a person is not connected and is against the Creator, now he is at work or some other place, it's nonetheless a certain disturbance against the connection. I do not understand how can a person not steal for himself an hour, a minute from an hour in any work. Any work. I used to also study and work in a very, very responsible sort of job, either in the Air Force, where you sign before the missions, or in treating people, doesn't matter. So even for one moment, for 1 minute from an hour, you can detach. There is such work where you're incapable during that time to be not in the work itself. With all your mind and heart, let's say that it's such a work that it simply completely takes you. I'm asking, that the klipa is against the Creator. What does it mean against the Creator? Because if at that same moment that I don't think, I have, besides that 1 minute, 59 other minutes, so I don't think about it as against the Creator. No, if the work is what you have to realize now, you were put in this world in such a work, with such a landlord. He demands of you to perform a very meticulous work that takes all of your attention. And you're incapable this moment to think about the Creator. Let's say you're incapable. I've seen it on myself. I used to work with systems that if I don't precisely see what happens, what hurts, I can't calibrate them correctly, the plane simply loses the north. I have to take the North Star, and I have to make the exact calibration in this system, in this navigational system, the gyro. And if I do it a second incorrectly, everything is, you understand, it's a piece of iron that doesn't understand where the north is. What's a plane? So I compose its main part. Without it, it doesn't know where to go to. So I felt on myself that by this I was completely detached. Not detached, but I was detached from everything, from the learning and the Kabbalah and everything. Not all the 8 hours a day, but there were such hours. So it doesn't mean that I'm under the control of the Klipa. It's not against the Creator. He put me in such a condition where a few hours a day I'm truly detached for lack of any other choice. Lack of choice. And therefore it is not praisable nor worthy of condemnation. Why are you confused by this? I don't understand. Unless I can be in connection, I'm not. Or I yearn to be in connection and obstructions come to me. That's more juicy. Then it is called the influence of the Klipa. The Pharaoh is discovered compared with the Moses. If not compared with the Moses, the people of Israel in general, the people of Israel are there, they feel a bit that there's a burdening in Egypt. What does Moses say to the people of Israel the moment you began to go to Pharaoh? We had to have a bad time. So the Klipa, it awakens if you awaken the sanctity. And not any other way. The question from Moscow. We're talking about the 7 years of satiation and the 7 years of hunger. In general, 14 years. But we say that the emerging into spirituality is 3 to 5 years. I talked about it, and I said that 7 is called Zat. Each degree in it includes Gar and Zat. Gar is called Rosh, Zat is called Guf. In Rosh, it is the decision, and in Guf, it is the action. Action. The decision was made from above. When an action ends below in the 7 low sfirot, it means that the degree came to an end. Therefore, there was a degree of the 7 years of satiation. It's called Zat, 7 years. This is how it's called. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchut. In total, 7. And afterwards, the 7 years of hunger. an ascent and a descent to such an extent that you have to escape, and by this, all of the period of exile came to an end. This is how we have to see our condition. There is no connection between this and seemingly 5 or 3 or 5 years. Both 3 or 5 years, it's not precisely according to the years. Why amongst them there's a partition between the sage at 3 or 5? It's either the 3 kelim or all the 5 kelim that have to go through the scrutiny. And meanwhile, we'll conclude a few announcements. We invite you to stay with us at the end of the lesson. Watch Boker Or, the morning show that will open your day with a lot of light. Rav Lightman's lectures in Bet Kabbalah will take place Tuesdays, 7 p.m., Jabotinsky, 112th Street, Petach Tikva. The virtual group, a virtual group for learning Kabbalah on forum.kab.co.il each Monday, live today on www.kab.tv. For concluding, have a good day.